enjoyed our time in Charlevoix. It was a beautiful town, very quaint, very charming, and we had a few days of bad weather, so we were lucky to be able to sit it out there at Charlevoix and have a really nice time. I was able to sleep late because we had to get fuel, and the fuel dock didn't open till 9. So we made the 9:30 bridge opening, and we are on our way into the lake again.
Another beautiful day on Lake Michigan. We left Charlevoix this morning about 9 o'clock, 9:30, and heading down to Leland, Michigan. You know, we're maybe half a mile offshore. You see, it's a very beautiful day. It's a very calm day. We would have left earlier and tried to make it to Frankfort in one day, which is about 70 miles, because it's such a lovely day and it's calm. But the fuel dock, we needed fuel. We didn't get fuel in Mackinac City, and we haven't gotten fuel up until this morning in Charlevoix and since Killarney. So that's been a long way. We were not quite at a half a tank, but we needed to get some fuel, so we did. But they didn't open till 9, so we had to get fuel and then catch the bridge opening at 9:30, which we did. And so we wouldn't get to Frankfurt till about 7:30, which is not good. So we're going to go to Leland today. We got reservations. We'll be in a marina, and we'll be there in about 30-40 minutes. But the whole day it's just been this, just traveling along the coast. And it is lovely here. You can see the water is just picture perfect. And we have some islands over here. So that's Upper Manitou Island, and then you see the little gap in Southern Manitou Island, Manitou, whatever it's called. But it doesn't get any prettier than this. It's gorgeous. Beautiful day.
Well, it's the evening, and I think it's the first day of September, and we are in Leland, Michigan, looking northwest over Lake Michigan. You can see these little island over there, over the jetty is Manitou Island. It's a beautiful sunset tonight. It is very chilly. And there's beaches over there, and then behind us, this is the marina, Leland Marina. And it is quite a quaint place. A lot of looper boats here today, like 8 looper boats.
One of the boats in the marina is the 48-foot version of Miracle. So we went over and talked to them, and that boat is massive. It is so much bigger than ours. The marina in Leland is right in this little small town, and we were able to walk into town each day. They have this area that's called the Fish Town, and that's where the
fish shanties. This is a net boat, and it goes out and catches fish with a net, and then they bring them in and then they smoke them in these little. Some of these little buildings are smokehouses, and some are like t-shirt shops. And they also have the Leland River here that's flowing down, and the salmon were coming up this little river and jumping up into trying to get over the
Down the
waterfall.
street is the Fish Town, where the marina is. And you walk up this short street, maybe 200 yards, and you're in downtown Leland. And a couple of restaurants, a coffee shop, sandwich shop, art stores. Into Leland.
And yeah, the beach is down the street. It's really cute here.
Do you like smoked fish?
I just tried walleye the other day.
You like
Did
it?
you like it?
It was good, yeah.
was good.
But I'm vegetarian, but I want to venture out to eat fish and stuff. So.
Fish? Yeah, fish are good.
Yeah.
Fish are good.
I'm gonna try some salmon next week.
Oh, it's good. So
Yeah.
you work for the pottery guy next door?
Yes, I'm doing an apprenticeship with him up until November when we fire his wood kiln.
That'd be great. Well, we've
Yeah.
had a good time here.
Yeah.
And they have a picnic, which is a sandwich shop, bakery, ice cream, and everybody has to have fudge. I think it's a law. It's an ordinance here.
Yeah, it is.
The beaches here are really, really pretty. The water is gorgeous. It's like the Caribbean, except the water here is cold. Freezing cold. It was pretty rough and windy that day, so I was a little worried about how it was going to be when we traveled the next day. We were right on the breakwater at the marina, and the sunsets were gorgeous.
Well, it was time to go. We're going to leave Leland here. Now, when we got this spot, this slip we were in was for a 38-foot boat, and we got a 42 plus the dinghy on the back. So, we fit in there, but when it was time to go, I had to pull forward almost to touch that sailboat in front of me before I could start turning, because I had to clear all the pilings with the dinghy. But we squeaked out very slowly and made our way out into the little channel there to head out into Lake Michigan. And we were a little bit worried because it was a little bit windy that day.
Yeah. So Lake Michigan is a very large lake, and our experience with Lake Michigan so far has been that there's usually like one good day to travel, and then you end up having 2, 3, 4 days that are not good.
And when we say not good, it's because it's too windy.
Right. So it's windy, and and the waves get big, and you just don't want to be involved in that at all out on the water. So we had to sit out a few days in Leland, and it was a great place to sit out. I'm glad we were there. It was a really good place to stay. But then this was our first day that was even borderline good. We knew it was borderline, and we decided, let's just try it anyway. So off we went, and it turned out that it was rougher than I enjoy. The boat did well, but we did it later in the day. We got some pretty big waves.
Yeah, it started out probably as good 2 to 3s, and with a 4 mixed in every once in a while. But as the afternoon came on, what happens was the sort of wind usually picks up around 1 or 2 o'clock, and there was more 4s and a couple of 5s mixed in here.
Yeah.
And it was a good test, because we know that, the boat didn't have any trouble whatsoever. And sitting up there in the chairs like we're sitting here, we were very comfortable. We never got seasick. Mm-hmm. But, you got to walk around to go get a drink or something, and it's hard to get around.
It was, yeah. I went downstairs to make lunch because we left pretty quickly that morning. So I went downstairs to make lunch, and came back and I told Chris, this is all the food that you get until we stop, because I'm not going back down there again.
Well, we're making our way towards Franklin, and which is about 37 miles. And it's a rough and woolly one today. Had to go, unfortunately. Tomorrow was going to be the same, and Wednesday was going to be worse. So it's Monday, the 2nd of September. We're going to go up and
go around this point. We're hoping it'll be a little better up there. It's not horrible, but it's 3-foot seas today. We've never left knowing we were going to go into this kind of rough conditions, but we had to. That's part of the trip. We got to do it. So doesn't look that bad, but it's a little bumpy, or an occasional 4-footer mixed in. But this is nothing for the boat. It's just not our usual smooth seas traveling. There's Manitow Island over there, and around the corner is Lower Manitow Island. And this is these sand dunes are the Sleeping Bear sand dunes. I think it's the first bit of those. The Sleeping Bear is a legend, a Native American legend about a mother bear and her 2 cubs who were fleeing a big forest fire in Wisconsin and were forced to swim all the way across Lake Michigan. And the mother got here to the shore, and she turned around and her babies had drowned. The baby bears had drowned, and she was so distraught she laid down in the sand and cried, and her tears turned to Petoskey stones that they find on the beach. And she lay there and cried and went to sleep and was gradually buried by the sand. And the 2 cubs became the islands of North and South Manitoba, or Manitouie, or whatever the island name is. It really is a beautiful story. I did a poor job of telling it, but it is a beautiful story.
I don't know if I've ever been so happy to see a lighthouse. The lighthouse was where the breakwater started for the Leland area. So we were able to come down the little channel, and once we got inside the breakwater, it really was much calmer in there. So I was so happy to get off the lake. We were able to come down the little channel, and then it opens up into a lake. I think it's Lake Betsy is the name of it. But it was a really, it was a nice ending to the day.
Okay, this is Harbor Lights Marina here in Frankfort. And this is all part of the marina, and apparently there's another place over here that has a hot tub and a pool, the main building. And the harbor looks out over this bay, where at 10 o'clock last night there were like 8 boats fishing, so it must be good fishing out there. And then there's the little cut that we came in from. There's a lighthouse over here on the other side of these trees, and the entrance to the channel is there. We're super close to the channel. There's Miracle. Lots of fishing boats. It's been a rainy day. It's Wednesday, 5th or 6th, and it's been a rainy day all day. We're overlooking this little bay here behind Lake Michigan up the channel in Frankfort. And it is gloomy looking, but it sure is pretty. Let's see the trees coming down here to the marina. There's a little patio with a barbecue pit to barbecue on. It's got a great view. And then you can see into the town of Frankfort there. These are straight ahead, some like condos, I think, and there's a little resort hotel to the left around here that's part of this marina too. Laura went over and got in the hot tub last night, and on the other side of the boats there is the main street with all the restaurants and bars and fud shops. In this little tapering mountain is the tree line comes down to the edge of the little inlet that you go into, that you go back out into Lake Michigan, and it's only 200 yards. It's really pretty. You can tell it's quiet, not one person's out. It's been raining this afternoon, but still there's nothing, no action anywhere, not another soul outside.
We arrived in Leland on Labor Day, and it was hopping that day. And then everybody went home. So these towns are starting to close up because Labor Day's over, so their season's over. But it was really a nice little town. They had good shopping and some good restaurants. We had dinner with some other loopers one night. And I really enjoyed this town. I'm glad we were here for a few days.
It's a rainy evening here in Frankfort. There's a cold front coming through. It's supposed to get cooler. But it's very pretty, you know. Just, this is the nice part of having a boat. You always have a great view of the marina and the little town and the woods on the other side of this little bay. And we're just sitting here as the rain falls. Just relaxing. It's very pleasant. We're not going anywhere for a day or so. We're just enjoying the marina in a rainy evening.
Thank you for watching. We've had a lot of downtime this last week, other than that day of rough weather. But we have really enjoyed all the towns that we've been in Michigan so far. They've just been quaint and charming, and they've just been a joy to explore. So please, if you haven't already, please subscribe and give us a thumbs up and leave your comments. We love getting your comments. And join us next week as we continue traveling south on Lake Michigan.